This was actually a very heartwarming surprise that Pinocchio movie is pretty similar to the original. 80 years separate each other, but it's still a captivating and an adult-friendly movie. Everyone will enjoy it and stick with me to find out why is everyone criticizing this movie, if it is true or not. All of that and more. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to leave a like, and let's go to this movie review. Well, first of all, this movie is 80 years old, like I said, the first movie. But and the book is almost 200 years old. It's like 130 years old or something like this. So I guess everyone who watched the movie passed like dozens of generations. Like I reckon, like people who actually watched the first cartoon, that came in 1940s. There are a lot of persons, like everyone watched this movie. Like my girlfriend's mother, she's 60. She watched this movie when she was a kid. Like I watched this movie when I was a kid. My mom watched this movie. A whole generation watched this movie. If you think about it, almost everyone that is living nowadays watched this movie when it was a kid. So if you think about it, it is a very influential movie. It is a movie that it is important to make a good representation in cinema, or at least in Disney Plus. So I would just say, like, the worst part of this is the movie just came out on Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus, okay? But if it came out on the movies and then came out on Disney Plus, I think it would have a bigger rating. I think more people would enjoy it. This is my opinion, because you will reach out to more people to see the movie in the big screen, and then you have the full experience just like your parents did back in those times. But it didn't affect me, at least, because I watched a lot of Pinocchio, and I gotta say, it's one of the best movies that Disney ever made. I've watched it dozens of times, and seeing when I was a kid and seeing like 5 years ago, I saw it again, and then I reckon it was so dark. It was way darker than I was imagining that it was when I was a kid. And then seeing now as a movie, I did a lot of reflections on how Pinocchio influenced a lot of generations that came after it. And it's very intriguing to me. So first of all, let's talk about the characters, the old ones, the new ones. The new characters that they bring to this is there a puppeteer, a girl puppeteer that I'm gonna talk later, that happens in Stromboli's part, and a Sophia, which is like a seagull that helps Cricket and then Pinocchio to find Gepetto in the end of the movie. If I'm not mistaken, these are the only characters that are actually new. The Pinocchio's teacher, because if I'm not mistaken, Pinocchio didn't go to the school back when he was a doll in the first movie, but now he goes to the school, and then the teacher goes to him, "Hi, you're not a real boy. You're made of wood. You're not a real boy." So he then forgets about school and then goes with those guys, the fox guy and the other helper, which is a cat, a drinking cat. They are just like the movie, but I'm going too fast, okay? The beginning of the movie, Geppetto makes Pinocchio, and then the fairy comes out. A lot of talking about the fairy. Oh, she's black. No. I get that, okay, she's not just like this one, but she was a very captivating character. She appeared for like 3-5 minutes. She sang in the end when she was going out, and when you wish upon a star, the thing, which was one of the first, if you think about it, was a thing that influenced also Disney owned visuals. This music felt like Disney. You could smell it. And then Geppetto, which is played by Tom Hanks, I think is perfect. I think there's nothing more to say. He's just like Geppetto. It's Tom Hanks being Tom Hanks. He's gonna deliver. He's gonna deliver every time. And then he makes the doll. But this is the thing that it didn't show in the last movie, which is Geppetto did this. At least I think they're rewriting the story, which is Geppetto did that because he lost his son, and then because of that, he felt he should have made like a doll to represent at least the pain that he had from his shot. I think it made the movie way more dense, if you think about it, for adults to see Pinocchio with a different perception that they didn't see in the other movies. For me, it helped. It was great. Then we been presented to Cricket, which narrates the story. I don't remember. I think he narrates the beginning of the story also in the movie. I'm gonna rewatch it. But and then we see Cricket. The visual effects of Cricket are marvelous, spectacular. All the visual effects are incredible. Okay, I'm just gonna say that right off the bat. I was gonna say that later, but I'm gonna just say now, okay? The visual effects are great. There is no single mistake in this movie with visual effects. Pinocchio, it's amazing. You believe he's there. the kids, the parks, the whale that appears in the end, cricket, the fish, the cat that Gepetto has. Everything is perfect, everything is S tier quality, so I don't want anyone complaining. I don't want anyone complaining about any of that, okay? So Gepetto helps his son to go to school, and then he comes up with the fox and the cat. I don't know their names, I'm sorry. But the ones that, trick him to say, no, you don't need to be a student, you don't need to study, you need to be an artist, an influencer. They bring these new things so we could, be more in touch with the new things, new terms like influencer, which is a funny thing. I saw it and I was, okay, they are trying to bring these new people to see that and be, an influencer, okay, a famous star. Because when you see those aspects of the 1940s movie, you see like a guy who works at the circus, and this is a very old thing, we're talking about 80 years ago, okay? So they are, at least the terms are trying to be more modern, you know what I mean? And then, just like I said, he was refused to school by their teacher, who was, they even joke about like, oh, the educational system isn't for everyone. If you think about it, it is true, okay? It doesn't mean that you need to go out of school and then just pursue like an acting career, mainly a career that your employer just makes you enslave because you're a puppet, don't have any rights, okay? So he just goes with them and goes to see Stromboli, with the show of Stromboli that he has with Pinocchio, him dancing, all the dolls coming out to dance, because there's different dances that happens with the dolls. This was just like the old movie, I loved it. I loved it so much. I felt like I was 10 years old again. Like, I'm shocked. It's amazing to see that in real life. And then this puppeteer who comes out to dance with him, which has in the old movie, which is like a ballerina. But now the ballerina they focus on the girl that has this ballerina, which has like a problem in her leg also. They develop her more, which is like, oh, everyone who works here, we're gonna just, arrest Stromboli because of everything he's doing. They are trying to bring another new aspect to the movie. I like that. Like I understand people who didn't like that. I want to be like the exact same thing that happened in that cartoon. But I think the director just wanted to put his own vision on it. But he maintained, at least that time, he maintained almost everything that he needed to be maintained. And then Gepetto was like, oh, I need to find Pinocchio. And then he goes to the boat to find Pinocchio. I didn't pay attention, just like in the movie. Why did it go to a boat? I don't know. Okay, but he did. He sold all his watches, which are also a big reference in the Cuckoo watches that he has, which are references to Pixar and Disney movies. We have Woody, we have another princesses. I'm not gonna find the pictures because I didn't find references to Disney. And then you see all those characters going out. And then, he flees from Stromboli using his nose when he lies. His nose grows with cricket. And then we see just that. I think it only happens that time. If you think about it, everyone talks about Pinocchio, which is like his main thing is when he lies, his nose goes larger. And then it happens only once. I think it happened only once back then. Like, just a funny thing to think about. Like, his main thing happened like in 2 minutes of the movie. And it was just great, just like the last time that I saw it. Stromboli actors also. He's just like the cartoon, And then when he's fleeing Stromboli, he sees a group of kids, and then he led them to the pleasure island. Oh my God, I was expecting to see Pleasure Island on this movie because I was like, I think they're gonna hold back at least on the donkeys part, and then I'm going to that later, okay? They go to the island, which is a very dark vision of the island, just like the movie when you saw the old movie, when you saw that amusement park, which was very dark, kind of scary, but all the kids were loving it. And then at least in the old one, we see Pinocchio smoking. We already knew that it wasn't gonna happen. Disney wasn't going that far, but they went a little bit to the edge. You saw more development of kids breaking stuff, doing bad things, being mean kids. We saw a kid that goes with Pinocchio. He breaks glasses. I think that happened in the old movie. And then there's a time when there's the time when Pinocchio, which is, they're not drinking beers, they're drinking like sodas, which was I think this is the easy way to put like a kid to drink beer. Disney won't be doing that. okay? And then when he was playing with his friend, Cricket goes there to help Pinocchio, but then he falls on this hole because the kid goes down, and then we see a glimpse of the donkey. I would be imagining, like, if I was a kid trying that, I would be scared, because I was scared when I was a kid watching that. But I didn't remember it was that dense. The scene was so dense that as I remember. And then we see after everything, you see the transformation of the kid that goes with Pinocchio, transforming into a donkey. And boy, oh boy, I'm here to tell you that it was as scary as the cartoon was, or even more, because we see like a human person transforming into a donkey, and he going like, mom, mom, and then he goes desperate every time, and then he's just transforming into a donkey slowly, forever. It's gonna be like that. This made me frightened. This scared me a lot. Don't get me wrong, this scared me a lot. I don't know if I would put my kid to watch this movie so soon, because it was really scary. I think this movie was more for for the adult persons who saw this movie when they were kids, because it is a very scary part, but it's very similar to the old movie, and I loved it. It was my favorite part of the movie. They wasn't afraid of showing that. And then at the end, we see Pinocchio rescuing Gepetto. But in the old movie, Pinocchio went to Gepetto, and Gepetto was already in the whale's mouth. But now Gepetto is in the middle of the ocean, and then Pinocchio goes after him. And if you're scared of oceans, scared of sea monsters, I am afraid to tell you that you're gonna be scared, because my girlfriend got the creeps watching this, because it was Gepetto getting closer and closer and closer to Pinocchio, and then a mouth just goes and swallows them, and that's exactly what she said, swallows them, and then they stay a while inside their mouth, and then they light a fire. I don't remember what was the solution back then, but then they light a fire, so the monsters spit them out. And this was, for me, this was the dumbest thing of this movie. As long as I remember, Gepetto didn't stall a treadmill. They didn't install like a blender's leg on Pinocchio, because he went swimming that boat faster than that monster. That was the thing that I was like, okay, I think they were too imaginative with that. But if you think about it, how they're gonna go out from that creature, like? And then we see at the end that people didn't see it as much. It was a very subtle thing. I think this director liked this, the subtle things that, let's see if he became a human. He became a human because if you see the movie slowly, you can see his wooden legs becoming human legs. I think they were getting too much trouble, making an actor to perform him as a human. I think it was a clever thing, and at least to end the movie. How gonna end the movie? They ended for me perfectly, which was him going out with Gepetto. We go through the light, and then we see the light, which it's pretty similar to the fairy's dust. And then he goes out as a human. For me, that ended the movie perfectly. It lasted as long as it needed to last. They didn't make any more. They didn't make the movie longer for any purposes or shorter. It was perfect. And I am thrilled that I actually had to see a new Pinocchio movie referencing the old one. I was so happy, and I felt like a kid again, you know what I mean? So if I need to rate this movie from 0 out of 10, I would rate it like an 8.5 for Pinocchio, okay? So don't come to me and say, oh, this movie is bad. I want arguments, okay? If you think the movie was bad, leave it in the comments. Like, why was the movie bad? Have you seen the old movie when you was a kid? Or just watch this movie, out of thin air, This might be my inside kid talking, but in my opinion, this was one of the best movie adaptations that Disney has ever made. Better than Lion King, and better than Aladdin, which was a really one, and 1000% better than the trash Mulan movie, okay? And again, don't forget to subscribe, to leave a like. Goodbye and peace.